Hello, I'm Mike, and welcome to GameQuest News. We had an eventful first week on the channel, starting with YouTube pulling our first video as inappropriate, like an hour after it went live. Frantically, we scoured the video for signs of anything that might be in violation of community guidelines or terms of service, and sent an appeal saying we couldn't find any problems with the video and asking for it to either be reinstated or for clarification as to what rules were broken and how to bring our video in compliance. YouTube sent back a generic "we double checked, you're actually good" message, and all was well. Just a false alert, guys. 24 hours later, our second video gets pulled for the same reasons, and I'm pretty sure my appeal just said something like, "Really, guys? This is going to be a daily thing?" And since then, YouTube hasn't pulled anything, but we're keeping a closer eye on the channel regardless. Also, our recording setup has stopped working. I believe I mentioned this in episode 12. I'll go ahead and give you guys the behind-the-scene tour of how the Ocarina of Time playthrough has been going. It took us something like 30 hours setting up the mics, doing sound and video checks, etc. before we managed to record episode 1. We just had a lot of problems and experience. We thought said problems were behind us, but it turns out our setup must be cursed or something, because we went to record episode 12, and all of a sudden it would just start and stop recording on a whim. Our mics would cut out for minutes at a time, separately even, which shouldn't even be possible with our current all-or-nothing audio feed. So, after much finagling, our current setup has us streaming our game video onto a computer running OBS, and it's working fine on the recording side of things. OBS, at least in the configuration that we have set up, works best recording and exporting video in an MKV format, which, for reasons uncomprehendable, Adobe actively chose not to support. So, there I was, sitting on hours of content I couldn't do anything with, and no way to make future content at acceptable quality levels, if I couldn't bridge the MKV gap. Which, thankfully, I was, having downloaded a free video converter that had rave reviews. If anyone out there is thinking I sound like an idiot with these problems, I fully agree. I'm really just on week 2 of me editing anything ever in this regard, so I'm just trying to bumble my way through the well duh phase of my career as quickly as possible. But hey, speaking of dumb things, the video converter had some built-in editing opportunities that I was unaware of, all of which were turned on. Like an auto detect for chapter splitting that would cut your video files into smaller separate files, an auto crop feature that would try and cut things out like black bars, and my favorite, a frame adjuster which would fit things together in the current aspect ratio. Dear hypothetical viewers, as this channel as of this recording has none, let me walk you through the glory of what this converter did. First, it chopped the videos up into several pieces, and somehow managed to cut all of Tony's laughter from the final product. If you had watched any of the videos prior to this, you would know that Tony thinks that I'm a funny guy, and laughs frequently. So, the roughly 20-minute video had been reduced to about 12. Secondly, it split off all of the Z-targeting, cutscene, and talkie bits that lowers the FOV and adds black bars at the tops and the bottom of the screen. Next, it removed all of the black trim from the edges of the video, so they only had the in-focus gameplay. Then, as a masterstroke, it stretched all of the individual clips into an ultra-wide format before stitching them together in a single video file. So I click on the finish video conversion, and I have time to think, like, why is it like 3000 by 1080 instead of the native 1920 by 1080? And then the show began. Naturally, I chose to investigate how it had managed this, and found that you could change a lot of helpful features in how it processes videos. It's actually a really cool piece of software. After discovering custom presets were a thing for the video conversions, I set some new parameters that produced exactly the video I was hoping for, and we were off to the races. As it is currently, we're up to episode 20 in raw footage, and with said videos in various stages of edited and uploaded. Other than that, there really isn't a whole lot to report. This has been GameQuest News, and I'll see you next week.